Hello and welcome to Learn, Do, Become Radio. I'm April Perry and I am so happy you're here with us. We help people who are overwhelmed by the details of life to create simple systems so they can do what matters most. If you want more time for self-care, if you want to calm your nervous system, you want to take care of your family, you want to do the best work that you were uniquely created to do. And if you're currently feeling a little overwhelmed or like you could use a little pick-me-up and you want to be part of a community of people who really care about helping you create those systems, then you are in the right place. So welcome, welcome. Now today I'm sharing a principle called Decide Once. This was featured in the book, The Lazy Genius Way. Such a good book. And I hope that the ideas I share today will spark some ideas for you in your unique situation and help you to feel really excited about systematizing, simplifying, and giving yourself the ability to be calm and present and completely out of the overwhelm. In fact, if you've listened to a lot of our podcasts in the past, you've heard me talk about my journey trying to get out of overwhelm, not just in my physical space or in my projects and lists, but also emotionally, trying to just calm myself down. And I'm in such a good place right now. I've been working on this diligently, training my brain, going through a series of exercises and learning from different teachers. And I'm feeling really, really good right now. So I'll be sharing more about the journey and how I got here and how I'm continuing to progress in this. But for today, I just want to give you a really solid piece of advice from this book, The Lazy Genius Way, that I truly think is remarkable. We've implemented it in our own life, and I'll share some examples, and then I know that you're going to come up with some fun ideas as well. So inside of our communities at Learn, Do, Become, we have our Arise membership, and we have our Steps to Everyday Productivity program. And we have a Facebook group for each one of those, and I hear book recommendations all the time, and that's where I get some of my best recommended books. And The Lazy Genius Way is one I've heard multiple times. So I finally got the audiobook and listened to it, most of it. And then I got the hard copy because I just do better with a hard copy book. So it's really good. And I think you will want to read the whole thing. In fact, this month in Arise, we're really focusing on routines. We're going to be coming together. We do a live class once a month, and then we have supplemental resources to help each one of us really look at our routines, identify what needs to be changed or, deleted, added, and you're going to love it. So if you want to go deeper into these routines and be part of the conversation with me and Eric and Team Learn, Do, Become, then go to learndobecome.com/arise. We'll be diving deep. But for today, let's just talk about this one principle called Decide Once. So essentially, the author, Kendra, is suggesting that we reduce decision fatigue by creating some simple structure for our lives. And here are a few of her examples from the book. She wears the same outfit every Monday. It's a black top and denim. She just said it's a great way to start the week. Don't have to think about what I'm wearing. If it's, cold weather, it's a long sleeve shirt and like denim pants. If it's hot weather, it's denim shorts and a t-shirt, right? But she just knows black and denim every Monday, my Monday uniform. Then if they're doing teacher gifts, every teacher gets the same book. So she'll just pick a book, buy it in bulk, and that's what everyone gets. When she attends weddings, she has a summer dress and a winter dress, and either one can be dressed up or down depending on the event. So how awesome. She just has to have two dresses for special events, and then that works for everything. For meals, her family eats pizza every Friday and has leftovers from the week on Saturdays. And if they eat any fish, it's always salmon. So I guess no tilapia. We're just picking one fish. For some of her household routines, she described a few of the things she does. And one of them was she scrubs the toilet right before taking a shower. She's like, because toilets are gross. And so she just does that right before a shower. And whenever there's a chance to decide once and make things simpler, she does. And I really love the start to the book because it helps you to be able to realize, okay, there's a lot we can do to just make it easy on ourselves. And even if you think, well, it's not that much effort to pick out a unique teacher gift for each teacher, or it's not that much effort to pick an outfit on a Monday morning, or to decide on a meal plan or whatever. The basic idea is that you want to be a genius in the areas that really matter to you and be, quote, lazy in the areas that don't matter to you as much. So she's just giving you a really tangible way to save your energy so that you can put your creativity into the things that really, really matter to you. Because all of us have a limited amount of energy. And, we can't do everything. So these are just some examples. And then obviously you can tailor it to meet your needs. But as I read her examples, I thought of a few things in our home that just might be helpful to share. So a lot of you probably know Eric wears a navy collared shirt and khaki shorts or khaki pants, in the winter every day. That's his uniform. He buys shirts in bulk, the same shirt. If you look in his closet, it's pretty much all navy on top and then all khaki on the bottom. And his brothers even came to a little dinner at our house one time, and they were both dressed just like him. And when they got here, of course, he was wearing his, daily uniform. And so they all looked just like Eric. It was awesome. I took a picture and sent it to Eric's mom, and she got a kick out of that. Even one day, his friend texted him, and it was a photo of himself in navy and khaki. And he said, "I'm channeling my inner Eric today." So all of our friends just know Eric wears navy and khaki, and he loves it. He goes, "I don't have to think about what I'm going to wear. It's super simple. I like these colors." He orders them on Amazon. He doesn't even go shopping. That's it. Now, for me, I don't know. I'm a little different. I tried doing, I found a kind of nice navy shirt, more, my style. I tried that for a while. I didn't like wearing the same thing every day. So I do switch up my tops, but I have 6 pairs of the exact same black pants that have pockets, and I literally wear them every day. I even went to a wedding reception where I wore a really nice top with my black kind of exercise pants that have pockets. And, people, I don't know if people notice, but anyway, it makes it super simple. And especially in my work, either I'm doing audio, like here right now, recording a podcast, or maybe I'm doing a video for our YouTube channel, but typically it only shows, my shirt. So I just change my shirt, and then every day I know what pants I'm wearing. Makes it really easy. Just one more wardrobe example. I used to buy those little white sports socks, where if I'm putting on my exercise shoes and I want to wear nice little sports socks to do my exercise or my walking, they were white, and then each heel and toe, there was a set that was orange and purple and blue, and it was 5 or 6 colors or something like that. The problem is that whenever we would do the laundry, then you're sorting the socks to match them up, and that's just one more thing you have to sort. And if you lose one of them or get a hole in one of them, well, now you ruin the whole pair. So I redid it, and now I just have all black socks. So Eric, he does our laundry, so he just piles up the socks, and then I just stick them in a little bin, and I grab 2 at a time. And it's so easy, but it's one of those things that's just saved any decision making. I don't have to spend even 1 ounce effort trying to sort socks. So just kind of simple. And then what he has done is, even when we had 2 teenage boys in the house, they each had a different color of socks. One had white, one had black. So when he's doing laundry, or if they were doing laundry, we just knew whose socks were whose. So anyway, that's what we've done. Okay, another side of it, weddings. Let's look at that. We've just decided we either give Amazon gift cards or we send money via Venmo for weddings. That's what I do for wedding gifts. So if they have a registry, great. Well, they can, typically people are registered on Amazon, or, they can find something they like there. But that's just saved me the time of going and buying something, wrapping it, taking it. And some people love it. I don't. And so I've never had anyone complain that they didn't want my Venmo or my Amazon gift card. That's just kept it really, really simple. And then for birthdays, we keep things simple as well. We both have big families, and we don't typically do gifts in our families. No, we don't expect it or give it. It's kind of more like, hey, just say happy birthday. But we have a special happy birthday song that our family sings. And so we record that and then text it out to them, or just send a nice little text. I do have some birthday cards that I'll write occasionally if I have some bandwidth, because I do like handwritten cards. But I have the same birthday cards, and they're all stacked up in a box in my office, so I can just pull one out, and it's really, really easy. On a card note, it was really cute because Aaliyah and her husband Josh, they went to, I think, the Dollar Tree and found a bunch of awesome cards, and they bought a ton all at once, a bunch of different thank you cards, birthday cards, all these things, and they have them organized in this nice plastic bin. So if they ever need a card, it's just ready, and they've got it already picked out. They don't have to keep going to the store and buying a new one. So anyway, thought that was brilliant. Just as far as logistics, like in our bathroom, we generally use the same shampoo bottles and the same soap dispensers in each bathroom, so we can easily buy in bulk and refill. Sometimes it gets off, like we'll get a white soap instead of a clear soap, so I'm trying to just go clear, but that's the idea. So you've got soap dispensers, clear soap, we can just always refill, same shampoo, same conditioner. It just makes it simpler, because if you end up with all these different bottles, you know how that goes. You're kind of running out of one, and then you buy some more, but then you didn't get rid of the first one, and then someone likes that certain color. I don't know. We ended up with like 8 shampoo bottles in the same shower, and that was kind of ridiculous. So now we just have one shampoo, one conditioner, one soap. It's just pretty simple. And then for me, just meal-wise, I have 10 meals, and snacks and smoothies that I eat throughout the week as the base for my diet. I've shared in the past how I had a lot of health problems, and I was really sick for a couple of years, and there were so many foods that were making me sick, and I was having all these problems. And anyway, every day I was testing, and I kept this list in Evernote of foods not to eat again, like foods I can't eat. And I figured it out, which foods really help me feel energetic and feel good, and which ones don't. So out of the foods that do make me feel good, I've come up with I love my soups and my green smoothies, and I have these pancakes, these protein pancakes I make, and I have these little treats that I do out of some sugar-free chocolate. And anyway, I have this list of 10 things that just really fuel me and I love. And so I just make sure I have everything on hand for that. And then I just rotate, through those things. I don't eat all 10 things every day, but I'm rotating through them. And the batching has made it so easy. Eric and I have a green smoothie every morning, and there's that brownie batter one that I love. And then we have this new one. It's like fluorescent green. It's like a strawberry banana. Anyway, Eric likes that one the best. And so we're kind of alternating between the two because he wanted a little more variety than I did. But just knowing this is what we have for breakfast, and then I've got all my other things kind of batched and ready, it just makes eating so simple. Especially I'd like to have at least 10 servings of vegetables a day. And with my soups and smoothies, it's so easy. And so anyway, I just do that. And then personally, I make a big family dinner on Sundays, and sometimes once or twice during the week. But because of our stage of life, I'm not making a meal every day like I did when we had all 4 children at home, and we were really trying to budget. And so I was very, very careful in making a meal every day at home to make it easier. Now Eric and Spencer have their own quick meals. I'm not going to share exactly what they eat because I want them to be able to share their own food on the internet. But anyway, I'm happy talking about mine. So that just makes the grocery shopping really easy. I typically go grocery shopping on Fridays, or I do a quick grocery order, and it's similar things. I've got this little list on the fridge. We add to the list if we're running out of something. So I just kind of look at the week ahead, see what I'm out of, add those things that, were written on the fridge. And it just feels really easy. So that way I'm not putting all of this pressure on myself to make a full meal every night of the week and then make it brand new and make it, fancy or whatever. But what's been fun is that because I do a big Sunday dinner, and during the summer I do more grilling. And yesterday, for example, I'm recording this on a Monday. Yesterday it was, Sunday dinner, and we had all these extra people who our children invited over, and it was so fun because they knew we were having a big family dinner. They knew that they could invite friends. And I want to create that environment where come on over for Sunday dinner, and it feels like a really nice gathering time. But then, I don't put the pressure on myself the other days. As far as house cleaning, we do an hour of Saturday jobs. Obviously on Saturday, that's where I just make a list of what actually needs to be done. And then I give part to Spencer and part to myself, and then Eric does the yard. But otherwise, during the week, we reset the rooms, we tidy as we go. If I'm noticing, we need a vacuum, I might, do some vacuuming. And then Saturday, if it doesn't need to be vacuumed at that point, we don't put it on the list. But that's just made it really simple. So we don't have this huge list every Saturday, but we just kind of clean as we move around the house and keep things tidy and wipe down or whatever. Clean a bathroom in 5 minutes if I've got, a few minutes that pop up. But that makes it feel really easy. So our house generally is very clean, every day. And the thing is, I know a lot of people come to Learn, Do, Become to learn how to clean their house, even though I don't feel like I'm this professional house cleaner or anything. But having systems in place, like we do a Saturday cleaning, or here's where we keep the cleaning supplies, or here's how each room is reset, just that alone has been so huge. And just one way that really helped us was this past week, Eric got a text from a friend of ours. We work at our local university with our church congregation. There's like 1,000 students, and we work with them. And we loved it. We get to know so many awesome students, and I just feel like they become like our best friends, this extension of our children. They're amazing. And there was one student in particular that we've been really close with, and he texted Eric and said, "Oh, hey, I'm going to be in town. I just kind of need a place to crash for a couple of nights. So it'd be okay if I came." And so it worked out. Yeah, Eric just said, sure. And I didn't have to do any prep. The room, because our children started moving out, now we have, some guest spaces. So we actually had the room ready. The sheets were already clean. The room was already decluttered. The bathroom was clean. There was a fresh towel in there. It was no big deal. Literally, he just came. We gave him a house key for a couple days, and I didn't have to worry at all. And when I was growing up, if that had happened, there's no way. My mom would have been super stressed out. The whole family would have had to clean. We would have just said, sorry, you can't, because it was just so messy and so overwhelming. But it just feels really good that even if someone just drops in and needs a place to stay, that we're ready, right? And then laundry-wise, so Eric is our laundperer, our emperor of laundry. And I know when I say that, some people are like, well, I wish that my husband was the laundry emperor. And, because the two of us work from home together, and we very much share the roles of home and family and work. And he likes doing laundry. He's way better at folding, and he's just got a system for it. Just every Thursday, we have our laundry pre-sorted. So in our closet, I've got whites and darks. We have lights and darks. And then our son Spencer will just bring down his laundry, usually the night before, or sometimes if he forgets or whatever, Eric just pops up and grabs it. And then Eric typically just does one light load, one dark load. And then he loves listening to the comedy channel on Pandora, like Brian Regan and Nate Bargatze. And then he does all the folding, and then he just has it ready for me and Spencer to go put our folded items away. It works really well for us. And a fun announcement is that we have a new grandson. We had the best experience this past week when our grandson joined the family. And I want to be respectful to Aaliyah and Josh and not share too many details publicly online, but they did say, yes, you can share it. We have a grandson. So we have spent a lot of time snuggling and holding and visiting and hosting them here and just being able to enjoy just this precious, precious time. I had no idea how much I would love being a Nana. It's Nana and Papa, that's what we're called so far. But it's the best. And they stayed here last night and just left this morning. And as they were leaving, they brought a lot of stuff with them to make sure that he had his bassinet and his changing area and all the things. And we just said, hey, what would be helpful for us to have here at the house? Not just for this specific grandchild, but for future grandchildren. What do you need here? So they just gave us a basic list. And so we're working on that right now. And we're going to just buy those things that can last for the next decade and beyond. So that's another example of deciding once, what do we really need here? I don't want to have a ton of random stuff, but I do want to have what would be helpful so that when they come to visit, they're not just piling their car and spending all the time unpacking and packing and feeling like it's a big deal. I want them to be able to feel really comfortable coming. So anyway, we're working on that right now, but that has been just the most beautiful experience. So happy. And anyway, I'm sure we'll be talking more about it in the future, but it was wonderful. So anyway, I don't know if all those kinds of examples are helpful, but I just want you to feel energized and empowered as you think about your life. So often things feel mundane and stressful and overwhelming, and it's like, I gotta clean everything, do everything, cook, laundry, take care of the house. But really, when you decide once and just put some simple systems in place, then managing a home just doesn't feel that hard. And then you can do more of the things that you want to do to contribute to the world on a broader level, or you can just enjoy your family more. You can snuggle your children or grandchildren or spend time with your neighbors. And you can read more and sleep more and not feel like the house is governing you. I think that's the main thing, is that there are so many little things that are required for life. And they're sustaining life is a beautiful thing, and it's beautiful work. And I clean toilets, and I don't feel like that's demeaning work or that's below me or whatever. Like, no, I'm cleaning a toilet because that's part of sustaining a family. And yes, there may come a time I hire out more work as I get older or as our energy needs to go in other places. But right now, it's so easy that we don't mind doing the laundry and cleaning and cooking and grocery shopping. Like, it's not that big of a deal. But it's just a really beautiful thing that moves along with family life. And so as I was thinking about this topic, I also realized that so much of our Steps to Everyday Productivity program is about deciding once. So I'm just going to give you some examples. First, inside the STEP program, we talk about landing spots. This is where before something would go into, your system, things are going to land in your life. So we want to decrease the number of email accounts. If you have 6 email accounts, you have to check all of them. That's a lot. We want to decrease the number of apps that we use where we have messages being sent, or maybe put them on one page of our phone, like one section. You want to make your landing spots feel really easy. I have a little landing spot in the kitchen on the counter where we put things that need my attention so I can look at them and decide, what goes where. But having a finite number of landing spots, that's one example of deciding once. Also having one inbox. Once things have gone to the landing spot, if they can't be handled in 2 minutes or less, and if they don't need to happen at a specific date or time and be noted on the calendar, they just go into the inbox. So one inbox is great because then when you do your weekly review, you just process the inbox and you're not thinking, wait, do I have a bunch of stuff out in the car? Do I have stuff shoved in my bag? Is there stuff like on the kitchen fridge? I grew up where we just put things on the fridge. We had bulletin boards. You kind of stick things everywhere, Post-it notes, reminder notes, planners. There was information everywhere. And so my mind always felt scattered. But when you have one inbox and you have a weekly review, that's just deciding once. It goes here. I check it once a week. Also, we create a current projects list at the beginning of the month. This is our focus. We decide, what am I doing this month? What's my focus on projects for me, for my family, and in the beyond category, like volunteer and paid work? And that's been really helpful because, just an example of the paid work. When I know, okay, this month we're working on some bonuses for our STEP program. I'm working on the YouTube channel and I'm working on batching some podcasts so that I can go on vacation and not feel like behind or whatever. So I'm getting ahead on some of those things. And so just that, knowing that's my focus, then I'm not thinking, oh, I should also be revamping this or redesigning this or, making this new thing. There's lots of things I want to do in the future, but that current projects list is already decided. If there does need to be an edit made, and I've talked about this in past podcasts, then great, we have a system for doing that. But otherwise, we've decided once. Email is another thing. If you only read your emails when you have time to process them, you only have to handle them once. And then you can make a decision, like, is this a 2-minute rule? Just reply. Do I delete? Do I unsubscribe? Do I put this in immediate action, which means I'm going to get it to 0 by the end of the week because it takes 10 minutes or more? Or do we just archive it, right? And then we have these 8 processing questions within the STEP program where you process every item in your inbox using those questions, which means you don't have things laying out like, oh yeah, I'll get to this and this and this and this. Because what I used to do, ask yourself, do I do this? What I used to do is I would have a big pile of stuff. And as I would go through the pile, I would find a bunch of things that either needed to be filed or acted upon or delegated or thought about or compiled with other project resources. And I would put them in little piles all over my desk. And each pile represented something. But then what I ended up with was a whole lot of piles. And more was still coming in before I could get those piles handled. So then I started moving the piles off my desk and onto the floor around my desk. But more kept coming in, and then I would have to deprioritize some things, but I didn't want to, put things in a filing cabinet because I still needed to do something on them. And so I just ended up with these piles multiplying and multiplying, and the world didn't stop moving, and the work didn't stop coming in, and my family needed time and energy, and I needed sleep. And so every time I would go to sit down to do work, it was just like, oh my gosh, I have so much work to do. Where do I even start? So if you ever sit down at your desk or sit down to work and you think, where do I even start? And you have 50 million tabs open on your browser, because I know you do that, you're just going to feel overwhelmed. So I actually shut down my whole browser every day, and the tabs that are related to projects, they're noted inside of those projects where I have my Command Central, digitally organized. So you don't have to have a million tabs open. You don't have to have piles all over. When you have your STEP Command Central, you're basically deciding once, this is the framework, and then everything just fits in it. And that's just what makes me so happy, is that the STEP Command Central works beautifully with every other book or system or product I've seen. It works beautifully with the Lazy Genius Way. It works beautifully with the Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. It works beautifully with Fly Lady. It works beautifully if you have a bullet journal. Like, there really isn't any system or app or resource that it doesn't work with. It's just that you need a full system to manage everything that you pay attention to daily, weekly, and as needed. So that's why it's so powerful. And I had to smile as I read a recent STEP win inside of our STEP Mastery Facebook group, because one of the things that we teach is that you file papers and digital items in distinct places so you can find them in seconds. I always tell people, you want to be able to know exactly where it is, so when you need it, you can just go find it. I don't want you digging through filing cabinets or looking through digital files or feeling all stressed out because you can't find that one paper you need. And if you only have a pile on your desk and a filing cabinet, which is what most people have, you're going to spend a lot of time digging. So one of our STEP Mastery members said, okay, my husband was looking for a manual for an item they'd purchased in the past, and he asked if I knew where it was. And he's kind of doubting that she knew. But using her STEP Command Central, she said, I went and found it in 20 seconds. And she was so excited to share it. So our family read that. We were just laughing. We're like, look at this. That's so amazing. Because when you can just say, oh, yeah, I know where that would be, like, for example, a manual, typically that's something that you would file. And if it's digital, I put mine in Evernote. If it's physical, then I have an actual file folder for those types of things. Or if it's something that they're looking for that's related to a routine or a current project, that's going to be in your support materials. Or if you put it in your tickler, or if it's in your waiting folder, you know exactly where to go for it. So instead of your brain saying, oh, is it at the top of the pile, the middle of the pile, or the bottom of the pile? You can just say, what type of item is this? Where would I have stored it in my system? And because it's so predictable, you can literally find things in 20 seconds. And so even though you might think, well, who cares if I spend an extra minute looking for a manual? Or who cares if I can't find a manual because I can just go online and look for it? Yes, you can. You totally can. And if you want to run things that way, that's fine. I'm not here to police you, right? That's your decision. But what I will say is when you use the STEP Command Central for every decision and every process in your life, and it's just kind of part of how you work, your brain doesn't have to put forth energy in all these places where energy usually just gets sucked out of your life. Instead, you have a lot more energy to focus, to be present for your family, to breathe, to think about your purpose, to connect with your higher power, to feel calm and to get insights and really just be able to rest. And the reason why I've been focusing so much on calming my nervous system is because I found that throughout my life, as I've gone through things that were kind of like little t trauma, not huge trauma, but it was traumatic to me, really hard things that happened in the economy or in relationships or in my family or with my health or just in the compassion and care I have for other people who are hurting. There are things that put me on edge. And I spent a lot of my life feeling like I can't rest because I need to be kind of anxious in order to protect the people I love. And if you feel that way, and if you find yourself getting sick a lot or feeling tired and run down a lot, it's probably because you're feeling a lot of love and care for other people, and you're putting a lot of good into the world, and you have a lot of compassion. That's what I find about the people who come to Learn, Do, Become, is you really care. You care about the world and society and suffering and alleviating that, and you want to be able to contribute, but you're also very overwhelmed by everything coming at you. And when we learn how to create these really simple systems and then not fill our lives with more just to keep ourselves in that state of perpetual anxiety, but we learn how to just create the systems and then enjoy the rest, and then use that preserved energy to think, okay, now I have energy and love and space and resources to offer. What could I do to best bless the world today? That's a totally different perspective. And so I want you to be able to give from a place of, peace and health and abundance and feeling relaxed. And then you're going to find you can actually do more for others than you could otherwise. Not that it's about how much we do, but you just start seeing your capacity increase. And then that just feels good because you know that you have what it takes to do the things that your heart desires. And we can't do everything, but you learn that you don't have to do everything. Start feeling a lot more calm and giving yourself a lot more grace. So anyway, that's my hope for all of us. And I do hope you'll build your full system and join our STEP program. If you haven't yet become a stepper, if you've been listening to this for a long time and you're thinking, you know what, I want to be a stepper, then go to learndobecome.com/step program. You can see what we have to offer. You can find out more. We would love to have you come join us. There's a lot of fun coming in the STEP program. We are really, really augmenting and simplifying and creating bonuses and creating a stronger community inside of STEP. I have this dream of a command central on every desk, and I want you to be able to feel the relief that comes when you build it. So come on in to STEP. And if you're already a stepper or you're just looking for some great books to supplement your system or even the things you learned on the podcast, this book I talked about today, The Lazy Genius Way, is really fun, great, helpful ideas. And they really, truly work beautifully in the context of your full STEP Command Central. So that's just why I genuinely love what we do here at Learn to Become. I love seeing the steppers in our program continually get relief. I love to see people saying, oh my goodness, I used to have hundreds of emails and now I don't, and I know how to process things, and I'm feeling more confident in my abilities. That's what I want for you too. So if currently your life is feeling overwhelming in any way, that really it's sadly a natural thing to feel overwhelmed. But I hope you know that we can each benefit in huge ways by putting simple systems in place to help us do what matters most. So I'm so, so glad you're here. If you come to our show notes page, we have links to our STEP program and our Arise membership. These are the two main resources that we offer here at Learn to Become. And it's great to have you as part of our community. And if you want to go deeper with us, you can come check out the links, and maybe you want to be an Ariser and a stepper and join with us and work with us more closely here at Learn to Become. All right, I'm sending a huge hug. Keep going. You're doing great. And just the fact that you're here listening shows that you are being deliberate about your time and energy, and you want to have more peace and calm. And I have no doubt you'll get there, and we're just here to help you however we can in the best way possible. Okay, love you so much. We'll see you soon at learndobecome.com.